Hello, everyone. The book I'm going to be talking about today, I don't think gets enough love. I don't think it gets enough attention. And maybe it's because I missed all the hype leading up to the release or right after its release, because it's not a brand new book. Maybe I missed it and it could be my fault, but I don't hear anybody talking about it. And it's a fantastic book and something you should definitely read. And I want to help spread the word about it, and I'm going to do that right now. All right, today we're going to be talking about The Return by Rachel Harrison. This is one of those books that I can't say too much about, not to give a lot of things away. It's something you should experience. The twists and the turns and the finale of the book that will answer a lot of questions. I'm not going to be talking about any of that, but this is one of those books that has two main components. The first component is it's really about a story about friendship between four women. They've known each other for a long time. They live in different parts of the country. They're best friends, but they're all very, very different, but they know each other's secrets and dreams, and they know all the good things about each other and all the bad things about each other. And there's a narrative about their relationships and different things that have transpired between them in the past throughout this book. But then the other part of the story is a horror story with a really, really creepy, terrifying event and thing that happens, which I'm not going to talk about. But trust me, it's there. And maybe that's why a lot of people aren't talking about it. If you read any of the blurbs concerning this book, you're going to see the part about the female friendship more than anything. And that might have turned some people off to that. But I want to assure you, this is a horror book. And without that narrative of their friendship running throughout, the thing that happens would not be as terrifying, and it would not be as creepy, if you understand what I mean. Those two things go together. So what I want to say is that the narrative is the main part of the book, but it's covered in a blanket of terror and creepiness. And I hope I'm saying that right, and I can get it into your head that you really need to read this book to understand. So like I said, it concerns four main characters. They're all female, young females, and they all get along for the most part. But they do bicker from time to time, but the book will tell you about all that. There's the main narrator of the book, Elise, and then her friends, May, Molly, and Julie. One day, one of the friends, and like I said, they live in different parts of the country, one of the friends decides to go on a solo hike in a national park, and she just vanishes. She disappears completely. At first, it's disbelief that this actually happened, and then finally they come to accept the fact that she's actually gone after 6 months, and then a year, and then a year and a half. They actually hold a funeral for her in her absence, since no body was ever found or anything. It's just like she disappeared off the face of the earth. But on the second anniversary to the day that she disappeared, she appears sitting on her front porch, and her husband comes out the door and finds her. However, she says, no memory, none whatsoever, about what happened. She just doesn't know. The last thing she remembers is waking up to go on the hike and then sitting on that porch 2 years later. She has no knowledge of anything that happened in between. and she becomes kind of like a magnet for media at that point, because the story breaks, of course, all over the country and all over the world, and she's trying to shy away from the reporters, and she doesn't want all the attention because of this thing. Well, the friends are relieved, but still they're pretty freaked out. And they wait a few months and decide that they are going to get together for a girls' weekend, give her a few months to adapt, to rest, take care of herself after this ordeal. And then for the first time, they're going to see her, and they're all going to be together again. And they do this in a one of those hotels, a really fancy hotel where every room has a different theme. Kind of one of those. That's where they decide to have this weekend, this long weekend over, I believe it's Columbus Day. And that's where they first see her. Now, the heart of the book is that it's her, but it's really not her. She has changed physically. She has become almost stick thin. Her bone shows through her clothes. Her teeth are yellowing and chipped. Her hair, which was once very luxurious, is now just drab and kind of dead on her head, I guess you can say. And other strange things. She was a strict vegetarian, refusing to eat any meat. Now all she wants to eat is meat. And they start noticing these things over the course of the weekend. And that's the mystery behind it, because the other three friends have to decide how they want to approach this. They want to ask her questions. They want to see did she really not remember anything? They want to know the story. But they're debating whether they should actually approach her, give her space, with the thought, if she does remember and she wants to tell us, she will. And eventually she does. She does tell one of them, but I'm not going to say anything more about it. I'm not going to spoil the ending for you. But let's just say she comes back after 2 years, but she is not the same person they've all known. And at certain times during the book, I actually thought, I think I know what's going on. Maybe she's a zombie. Maybe, with some of the descriptions, at one point I thought maybe she's a werewolf. Maybe this is a werewolf story. But I was completely off base and completely wrong. And so the ending was a big twist surprise for me. And I absolutely loved it. I thought it was brilliant. And like I said, without these characters, and each character is so fully developed, so I can honestly say it's a beautifully written narrative that is the base of the book. And then, like I said, you got the icing on the cake of the horror and the terror and what happened to her for those 2 years that she went missing, and why is she different now. It's not a super long book. It's about average length. I forget the page count. But it's a very nice read. It's not complicated. There's no big scenes. There's no paragraphs where you're going to have to go over it 3-4 times to figure out what she's saying. But Rachel is just a very, very, very descriptive and good author. And she has a way of writing the characters in this book so well that, because this book could have easily been, 4 women who are all the same and they all get along and blah, blah, blah. But it wasn't, because they're all distinctly different. And so when an author is working, I think, with more than a couple different characters of that range, and does it so good to the point where each one is believable, each one plays an integral role in the story, that's, to me, that's one of the hallmarks, I think, of a really, really good author. And this book is terrifying. It is creepy throughout. It will slowly build up as we learn more things about the past of these women. And like I said, that relationship between them makes what happens even more horrifying and even more brutal, because what's going to be revealed is going to change everybody involved forever. And so it's pretty freaky, pretty creepy. And like I said, I didn't hear about this book before. It came recommended to me on Twitter. Thank you, Twitter. And wow, I was blown away by it. And I didn't think I would like it at first as much as I did, because the only thing I read about it was that it's about these 4 women and their relationship. And I was like, I'm just a dumb man. I don't know if I want to read about that. But man, I'm so glad I did. This book really exceeded my expectations. I highly, definitely recommend it. And I will leave a link to the Amazon page below if you want to purchase it from there. And if you don't, find somewhere else. Go to the library, buy it from another bookseller, or whatever you have to do. But put this on your reading list if you have not read it yet. It will be worth it, I promise. Also down below is a link to my Twitter. If you want to come join me on there, I'd love to have you. And as always, I want to thank you for spending a little bit of your time listening to me. I really appreciate you guys when you watch my videos. Be sure to give it a like. Leave me a comment if you want. That's mine. I love to talk to you. And stay safe. And until we meet again, keep reading spooky, my friends.